On behalf of the Bradenton Area Convention and Visitors Bureau and the Tourist Development Council, I'd like to welcome all of you to this year's National Tourism Week celebration. This annual event serves as an opportunity to come together as an industry and as a community to celebrate the countless positive effects tourism and visitation have on the Bradenton area as a whole. Thank you for being here today. This year's theme is Crafting the Perfect Destination, which is something we are all doing together on a daily basis. Our visitors consistently tell us that it's not just the area's amazing beaches. It's the character, it's the atmosphere, it's the friendly people, the food, the variety of things to do. It is all these ingredients combined that craft the perfect destination. And it is our goal for today to recognize these people, places, events, and other ingredients that contribute to making our destination one of the best and one that our visitors want to return to time and time again. We have a very special guest in attendance, the founder, president, and CEO of the Trumpet Awards Foundation and creator of the Trumpet Awards, Dr. Zernona Clayton. Dr. Clayton is a civil rights leader who worked closely with the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. She was the South's first African-American woman to have her own primetime television show and was the highest-ranking female executive at Turner Broadcasting for nearly 30 years. It is an honor to have you with us today. We'd like to begin our program with a performance of God Bless America sung by Caitlin Folsom.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
And though every person here today has played an important role in the area's success, I would be remiss if I did not take some time to recognize several key attendees. So at this time, we would like to acknowledge and thank several area dignitaries. Please join us for saying hello and thank you and for their ongoing support. City Councilman for Bradenton Beach, John Chappie. County Commissioner Betsy Benak. Commissioner Steve Johnson. Commissioner Charles Smith. Commissioner Priscilla Trace. Commissioner Carol Whitmore. And the Mayor of the City of Palmetto, Shirley Bryant. We also have a few members of our Tourist Development Council that are with us today. Jack Reinerson, Dale Sconyers, and Mr. David Teitelbaum. We have an exciting and full agenda for you to enjoy today, so without further ado, I'd like to introduce our MC for today's program, former WWSB weekend anchor and general assignment reporter, and current communications and public media relations manager for the 2017 World Rowing Championships, Mr. Max Winitz.
Good afternoon, everybody. Great to be here with all of you today. Elliot Falcioni, wherever you are, thank you so much for having me here, being able to speak to all of you for this wonderful, wonderful event. I want to first off, can we all give a tremendous round of applause for the Bradenton CVB for this wonderful, wonderful, spectacular food truck and beer garden. It really is tremendous. Great job. The lights look terrific as well. Again, Max Winitz, Media Public Relations Manager for the 2017 World Rowing Championships. Show of hands, how many of you have heard about the World Rowing Championships coming to the Bradenton area? Just about all of you. Fantastic. What's really exciting is that from September 23rd to October 1st, we are expecting 40,000 people in the Bradenton area, 1,700 athletes from more than 60 countries, all coming to Sarasota County and Manatee County for this marquee regatta. I tell everybody who really isn't familiar with the sport of rowing that this is rowing's Super Bowl. This is rowing's World Series. This is the marquee event taking place in the world outside of an Olympic year. So I have to ask all of you, who's ready to welcome the world to the Bradenton area? Phil, let's play the video, please.
I row for the glory of becoming a champion.
I row for the devotion I have to every person on my team.
I row to get quiet and focus on the sound of my breath.
I row to test the limits of my endurance.
I row for the feeling of 8 moving as one.
I row for the feeling of crossing the finish line.
First time in 23 years, this event is being held in the United States. And you guys will all appreciate this. We are expecting an economic impact of $25 million for the two-county area. Again, it is a great honor to be here with all of you today, and it's a great honor to introduce our first guest speaker. He is somebody who is very special to all of us, as is his entire organization. And there really is no single more important economic driver in our state than tourism. When the economy weakened, tourism was there. When the real estate market collapsed, tourism brought visitors who later became residents. Tourism produces jobs, it lowers taxes, and it provides an economy and lifestyle for all of us that is both rewarding and resilient. Now, the state of Florida has one organization whose purpose is to establish the state as the #1 travel destination in the entire world and to maximize the economic impact of travel and tourism for all of our benefit. We should all be proud Visit Florida. We should all be proud of Visit Florida and the way that they work and the work that they do. So please join me in giving a great Bradenton area welcome to our next speaker. He is the president and CEO of Visit Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ken Lawson.
Afternoon, how y'all doing? Hey, listen, this is so cool. I mean, I've been speaking around the state, but the food trucks, the energy, the people who are here, this is wonderful. But before I get into my remarks, I gotta say 2 words. Thank you. You don't know how much I appreciate you and what you've done over the last several months in helping Visit Florida fight this fight in Tallahassee. Let's get real, because I want to have a real conversation with you today. You know, the legislature decided to get engaged in a philosophical debate. But the thing is, they're debating about our economic health and the ability of 1.4 million Floridians to get to work, feed their families, and live their lives. And the thing is this, they imposed restrictions and Visit Florida. You know it. They cut our budget from 76 million to 25 million. They put handcuffs on us to make sure that we have to be a state agency, but can't engage the competition across this country, across the world. But I know this, and you know it too. We add value to this community and every community in the state of Florida. You know, go ahead. Let's talk about the numbers. Let's talk about the math. You can tell I'm passionate, am I not? I'm passionate because I care about our state. I'm passionate because I'm a Floridian, born and raised in Gainesville, with school in Tallahassee, and right now I'm trying to make sure that all our families succeed. But in terms of the math, we know with Visit Florida as an umbrella, small, medium, and large markets can sell themselves across America and the world. For every $1 invested in Visit Florida, it returns $3.20 in tax revenue to our state, right? You know, last year we had nearly 112.3 million out-of-state tourists come here to Florida, enjoy our sunshine, and go to our exhibits, enjoy being tourists in Florida. In 15, we had nearly 109 million who spent $109 billion here in our state and generate $11.3 billion in state tax revenue, meaning that you, out of your pockets, you're not paying a personal income tax because they're covering those costs. And every day we have tourists in Florida, they spend $300 million a day. That's huge. But by virtue of the legislature taking action to restrict Visit Florida, I got hard decisions to make. You know, Kimberly, see Kimberly right there? Awesome lady, stand up, Kimberly. She's part of our 140 people who serve Florida. Make sure that we're spreading the word across the world and America. But at the same time, because of what the legislature has done, I got to make hard decisions about reducing my staff. If I reduce my staff, that means I reduce my programs. I go from 140 to some lower number. That means I cannot market Florida, this community, in emerging markets such as China, India. I may be able to do it in Canada, maybe the UK, but I got to focus because I got competition fighting for our tourists. I don't know if you've noticed over the last several months, California, Texas, countries like Dubai, they've been coming after our tourists. Just a few weeks ago, Visit Georgia came down to Florida, right? They came to Tampa. They came to Orlando. They came to Miami. They went to Jacksonville, saying that Florida's out of business. In fact, the head of Visit Newport Beach, California, had this statement in Travelers Weekly. He said, "We hope in California that the Florida legislature decides to cut funding in Florida because we want their tourists." He got his wish, did he not? But the thing is this, I don't care what my funding is going to be. I'll make the hard decisions because I believe in my state. I'm part of this state. I grew up in Gainesville. Tampa's my home. Sarasota, Bradenton's my community. I believe in what we have to do to make sure we keep functioning, keep going. I'm going to find a way to win. And I said this yesterday when I was in Sarasota. I said it earlier today when I was in Citrus County. The session has started already for Visit Florida. What I'm going to do as a leader of Visit Florida, starting yesterday, is go in every district, see every member, and regain the trust that we lost. Because what happened was an occurrence with Pitbull. That happened, right? What happened was there's a question about who we are and how we handle our money. What happened was there's a question about Visit Florida's value, but we all know the value. But we're going to gain the trust with the legislature. So I'm going to go after the trust and get our money back. Because with that funds, we're going to make sure it's being used to drive our economy, make sure 1.4 million Floridians are going back to work, and make sure this community is able to market itself. That's what I'm going to do as a leader. But I need your help. I need you to reach out to the House members and the Senate members who are out there. You know, I respect our governor. I stand by our governor. I stand by our Speaker of the House. I stand by our Senate President. I stand by every person who's been elected as our leaders. But you, who's working every day to keep your doors open, feed your families, make this community strong, you're the real leaders. So if you're going to help Visit Florida, I need you to get out there and call these people. Tell them what we are doing. With transparency, since I've been in this job, I've made sure that we have our contracts, We have our salaries online. I reviewed every single contract. I decided to keep one, get rid of one, or just keep going. But the bottom line, to make sure there's a value to all of us through our efforts at Visit Florida. We're going to make some mistakes. And I stand up here and say, I'm going to make some mistakes. I own that as a leader. I own our past, I own our present, I own our future. But with Kimberly and my other employees, we're going to work hard to serve this state. And we're not going to back down from any challenge. We're not going to back down for any complaint. We're going to face problems, deal with problems, and ensure that we compete. And we're the #1 state, #1 tourist destination in the world. With that being said, I appreciate you. I need you. Enjoy. I'm going to hit the food trucks. See you later now.
One more time, everybody, for Ken Lawson and Visit Florida. Ken, thank you very much for that heartfelt and very compassionate speech. I think you have a career in coaching once you're all done in government. Moving on now, the Ringling College of Art and Design has had a very long and a very distinguished history in our region. Since 1931, creatives from every single corner of the world have come to the college to deepen, to transform, and to explore their passions. The impact of its graduates has been noted worldwide. And today, Ringling is poised to be recognized as the prominent college of art and design worldwide. Guiding all of Ringling's creativity and passion is today's keynote speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in giving a warm welcome to the president of the Ringling College of Art and Design, Dr. Larry R. Thompson.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm not certain I know how to follow Ken, okay? With that kind of enthusiasm, I enjoyed your remarks, and let me tell you, I'm a huge supporter of Visit Florida. So it's really great to hear from you and to hear about the battle that you're winning, hopefully, up in Tallahassee. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the oil of the future. And that oil is actually creativity, and why creativity is so important for all businesses, and especially your businesses. I'm going to start off with a little bit about me, and it's very brief. I am actually a lawyer, but recovering from it. I'm in the 12-step program, and the hardest step is the first one, where you have to quit billing. That's the most difficult for lawyers to do. Because we love to make certain we get those bills out so we can get the revenue in. I'm also, before I went to law school, I was a math major in undergraduate school, and I've had a very, very diverse career. So here I am, this lawyer, this mathematician that's now head of one of the world's finest art and design colleges, and I can't draw a stick figure. So, but nonetheless, I'm all about creativity when it comes to what happens in our economy. So one of the things I did was, in my journey, is that I put together the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland. That was my baby. Yeah. Raised all the money for it, got it designed, got it under construction, the whole 9 yards. So I don't know if you've been there or not, but if you haven't, I would encourage you to go there. I mean, it opened 20-some years ago, and it has withstood the test of time. Now, a little bit about Ringling. I could go all afternoon on that, but I'm not going to do that. But I thought I would tell you what we are small but mighty. We have about 1,400 students. We're an undergraduate institution, and we have basically 12 majors that range everywhere from computer animation, graphic design, interior design, motion design, illustration, fine arts, and photography, and it goes on and on and on. One of the things we're most noted for is the fact that we are the most technologically advanced art college anywhere in the world. In fact, U.S. News and World Report called us the most wired campus in America. Not art school, campus. And it's not because of the coffee. But we are definitely the most wired. So I thought I would just give you just a little glimpse about some of the work our students do. So if you could roll this clip. All right, isn't that great? So a lot of people ask me, what is motion design? Well, that's just one simple example of it. It's also something you see every day in various commercials where things happen that don't actually happen in reality. They're all done in animation of what people put together. So, and I also like to tell people, if you watch the Super Bowl and take out the talent, that's all motion design. That's all motion design. So it's one of our incredible majors that we have. Now, I'm going to have you do a little work, okay? So I don't see a lot of paper and pencil here, so I'm going to instead have you close your eyes a minute, okay? All of you need to close your eyes for just a few minutes because I'm going to ask you to do something. So my first question, and what I really want you to think about, is draw in your mind a winter scene. 30 seconds, go. Dun, 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 dun. Are you all drawing in your mind? Dun, 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 dun. Boom, 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 dun, dun. Stop. Okay. Now, normally I'd have you drawing this, right? And I'd ask you to sort of show them all up. So, how many of you had in your mind a snowflake? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. It's okay. Raise your hand. How many of you had a snowman? Raise your hand. How many of you had a Christmas tree when you're thinking about a winter scene? Okay. Now, this is a really unusual group. I'm curious of what else you had in your mind when you were thinking of a winter scene. Ice skating. Good. Okay. What was it? Where you grew up. Okay. Mountains. Okay. Well, that's really great. Now, normally when I do this exercise, and this probably isn't so great because drawing makes it a little more difficult because you start to go to some simple things. Normally, about 80% of the audience does one of those three things. The reason why I like this exercise is this is an exercise we actually have our students do in one of our majors called the Business of Art and Design, which is a business program within an art school. And on the first day of class, the professor says, okay, draw this. Draw a winter scene. And sure enough, they follow it, and it's usually 80% of them. So the professor said, why in the hell would I hire you? Don't ever do that again in any class at Ringling College of Art and Design. Welcome to art school. So that's what it's like when that happens. So the second exercise I want you to think about, you don't have to draw this, but I want someone to tell me what is 1/2 of 13. Shout it out. Okay, 6.5. Now, there are a couple of other answers to this. So you have 6.5, which everyone comes to, but there's another answer. Okay, because this is dividing 13 in half. Or another answer, which is 4. 1, 3, dividing 13 in half. Or the one I really like, which is 8. You know how I get to 8? Let's show them. 4 and 4. Okay, you got it? So The reason why I love that sort of exercise is because what happens is that in our society, we always think about one answer, the correct answer. And it's always about the correct answer. Creativity is not about the correct answer. Instead, it's about multiple answers to solving different kinds of problems. So, what I love to say is that to all those people who love standardized tests and all that kind of stuff, I say, we really don't need more multiple choice tests. We need more tests with multiple answers, because that is what we are going to have for the future of our society. So, next slide, please. So, a little science lesson. I bet you didn't think you were going to get this. So, I brought with me my brain, okay? And this is actually the size of a human brain. It fits really well in here, okay? And hopefully your brain doesn't do this. So the brain is composed of two hemispheres. The left hemisphere that controls the right side of the body, and the right hemisphere that controls the left side of the body. And that's the reason why if you have a stroke on the left, you're paralyzed on the right, and vice versa. But I'm not here to talk about that medical part. I'm here to talk about the thought process in terms of the brain. So, taking a look at this, on the left side of the brain are these thought processes: analytics, logic, sequential order, linear thinking. Okay? That is the left side of the brain. Meanwhile, the right side of the brain is where creativity resides, where it's nonlinear thinking. It's also very intuitive and much more holistic in terms of its thinking. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because in the past, what is it that we have valued the most? Left brain thinking, right? I mean, that's what the FCAT's about. That's what the SAT is about. That's what almost everything and kinds of tests that we talk about are about. And that was incredibly essential for the 21st century. For the 20th century. Really essential for the 20th century. And in fact, what's happening now is we have a lot of people who are talking about STEM: science, technology, engineering, and math. Now, those are all very important subjects. In fact, because I was a math major, I am one of those in terms of a STEM advocate. But what's happening in today's society is that we need to develop the right side of the brain equally to the left side, because we allow the right side to actually atrophy. So why in the world is that important in terms of what we do? Well, what's different in today's workplace? And the answer is very simple, because creativity is what it's all about in terms of all industries. Now, let me give you a couple of factoids, which I want to give you. One of them is about the 75% of businesses place creativity and innovation as the top 5 most critical skill set for U.S. global competitiveness. And there's a great study by IBM. IBM, the really STEM people, very much the IT folks. IBM did this survey of 1,500 CEOs and asked, what are the most important leadership skills for future leaders? And the number one answer was creativity. Now, if you look at this chart, you may not be able to see it, but let me tell you what came in number 2 was integrity. That's a little disturbing, okay, but I'll use it because creativity was number 1. So, I'll use it for purposes of my talk. And the reason why this is important is there's a lot of factors that are happening that are causing things involving whatever it is that you may be doing in your business, that you need to be creative and innovative constantly. You cannot remain the same whatsoever, because the world is changing faster than anything. And the thing that's going to really make you special is how do you actually create either something or create an experience or create items that are going to make your product, your service special. So one of the things, for example, is using an example of Apple. Okay. Now, Apple, you may remember, almost went bankrupt in the 80s. But then they brought Steve Jobs back, and he basically brought it all back to life. So everybody thinks of Apple as an IT company. Our students think of Apple as an art and design company. And the reason for that is, if you remember when he did the first Mac computer, what was it about? It was beautiful, it was well designed, and it was intuitive. Remember, right side of the brain, intuitive, so that you didn't have to go through all that Fortran stuff and the prompts and so on and so forth. You could use it very, very easily. It was user friendly. But then, not only did he do the computer, but then of course he came up with the infamous iPod and then the iPhone. In fact, what he did was to create items that people had no idea they had to have. Right? Had no idea that they could not live without. Because they, even though they existed in some fashion, because before iPods there were MP3 players, but they were also clunky. So what he did was to create the iPod that was user-friendly, and then he created a whole new way of delivering music. But you remember all the records and then the tapes and then the CDs and so on and so forth? Now it's obviously all online as a result of what Apple did. Another company of interest to you guys is, of course, Airbnb. Now, this was just a creative genius idea by young people to totally disrupt the hotel industry. And it has done its job. So that was, again, creativity at work by the young people to create a whole new delivery system for people to be able to experience, and be able to live, to be able to house themselves in a different location. I mean, I know it's had a major effect on the hotel industry, but that means now hotels have to come and create and recreate themselves, so there's a reason to go to the hotel instead of using Airbnb. Because what's happened is it's not just about the price or even the quality anymore. It's about the experience. It's about the intuitive feel about it. Another one is Uber. Did the same things to taxis. Okay? It was a whole creative invention. No one believed that that would ever work. I mean, if you were going to invest in Uber or if you were going to invest in Airbnb when it first came out, you probably would have thought, oh, wait a minute, somebody's going to get, attacked in the house or in the car or whatever, and it'll just fail. Well, that's not what happened. So Uber totally disrupted, totally changed because of what? Because someone had a creative, ingenious idea to give the service in a different way. Another one, quite frankly, which is interesting that we at the Ringling College have been working with, is General Motors. Because General Motors has realized that what is a car? A car is nothing more than moving sculpture. Moving sculpture. So they have now gotten a number of our students who are involved in sculpture, and now they are designing the cars for 2030. It's not auto design, it's creating images of what they think it might look like in 2030 because they want that kind of creative element when these cars will be driving themselves. So that's just another example. Another one is Gojo. Gojo makes Purell. They've come to us because they wanted to get millennials to use their product. So they had to figure out new packaging, new ways to get the young people to be able to use a product as simple as hand sanitizer, but that would get the young people excited about actually using it other than just for protections of being infected. So that's why creativity is essential to every business, because they're all going to change. Everything is going to be built upon that whole creative genius. And that's why young creatives are actually the leaders of the future and are so essential to your business. I like to tell people that if I were you, if I were a company, I would have an artist and designer in your boardroom just to challenge the way you think, just to really have a totally different perspective than anybody else sitting around the table, because that is what you're going to need for the future. So I brought with me our latest magazine. It just has some information about the college and some of the things that we are doing there. But I thought it would be helpful to you as you're looking at this whole thing and to realize that it is so important to think about the kind of right brain thinking that's going to be so essential. Because the left brain thinking are either going to be done through automation, because if you can write an algorithm for it, it can be done by a computer or a robot. And you know what? They don't join unions. They don't take lunch breaks. They don't even take vacations. Or it may be done overseas for a lot less money. So these left brain tasks that were the logical, serial, linear functions and thinking are no longer going to be the most important ones. It's actually going to be these over here, so that you can be ahead of whatever your competition is. So thank you. It's been great to be here today, and a wonderful, wonderful audience. So thank you very much.
Dr. Larry Thompson, everybody. Thank you, Doctor, for the lesson in anatomy and art. You are a doctor. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Well, crafting the perfect destination takes many, many ingredients. And one of the most important are the people willing to provide our visitors with a tremendous guest experience. And it takes people willing to go the extra mile, willing to put their all into their work, and willing to put our visitors before themselves. Each year, we take a moment to recognize one very special individual who exemplifies the characteristics of representing the destination positively, who engages in promoting and supporting area visitation, and who has provided the best possible visitor experience. This year's recipient was chosen through a community-wide nomination process, and the nominees were then carefully considered by a panel of distinguished judges against stringent selection criteria. As I name their names, let's give them a round of applause. These are the judges for this year's 2017 Destination Ambassador Award. First, we have the general manager and owner of the Holiday Inn at Sarasota Airport and Bradenton Area Tourism Development Council member, Mr. Jiten Patel. We also have the founder and editor-in-chief of SRQ Media, Miss Lizelle Liang. And finally, destination sales manager for the Bradenton Area Convention and Visitors Bureau, Miss Amy Blanker. So at this time, I'd like to invite to the stage the chair of the Tourism Development Council, Commissioner Carol Whitmore, alongside the executive director of the Bradenton Area CVB, Mr. Elliot Falcioni, as we prepare to present the award to this year's recipient.
Okay, I'm totally lost right now. This is the, I'm speechless. That's a first. Y'all have known me for 23 years, and I'm totally speechless right now. But I will speak later. No, thank you for all being here. The Tourism Ambassador Award now is in its 4th year, and some of the recipients in the past, John Horn in the back has received awards 2 years in a row. We have Ed Childs sitting right in the front here, David Teitelbaum in the past. And the committee received many nominations for many hospitality employees in the community. And the committee had one that just keeps surfacing to the top. And we're real excited that it's someone of the culinary arts field, finally. And he's done a great job, a great partner hosting our travel writers, our tour operators from abroad, and really has just created a unique menu for the urban core in downtown Bradenton. So the award winner this year from Pier 22 is Chef Greg Campbell. Woo! So I've worked my way through that, Greg, and hopefully the next time I come, you'll have a special Italian meal for me.
Wow, that's really cool. All right, well, yeah, obviously I didn't prepare anything, but the first thing that comes to my mind when I don't really get many awards, and I don't really ever ask for one, but somebody nominated me, I suppose, and that's pretty cool. I was kind of lucky as a kid because I knew what I wanted to do when I was really small. I lost my father at a young age, and my grandmother took me in, and she was really a leader in her community. She lived in Rhode Island, and she raised 3 kids by herself, and took me in and taught me about how important life is and how important it is to feed people. And it's the way, everybody, you hear people say it all the time, it's a way to a man's heart, but it's really a way to anybody's heart, just by creating food and taking care of people like they were your family. And I try to emanate that as much as I can in the restaurant, whether it be locals or tourists or people, travel writers, or whatever gets thrown my way, wine dinners. I mean, I can go on and on about feeding people, but feeding people is really where it's at. And when you feed people, and I've got some people I've fed, probably most of you. I remember there's somebody sitting here that told me that he had the best crawfish etouffee that anybody would ever eat. And I ended up with some crawfish at some point in time, and I called him up and said, hey, come pick some up. And he actually thought that it was pretty good. So that meant a lot to me because, when you cook something, everybody cooks meatloaf, everybody cooks etouffee, everybody has made this and had that in Thanksgiving dinner. We do 1,300, 1,500 people on Thanksgiving. And I tell you, people are like, oh, you got to work on Thanksgiving. And I always say, you know what? That's my favorite day of the year, because isn't that what it's all about? Isn't it about feeding people and coming together and celebrating? And all these people are coming to my house? That's awesome. And when you have people come from Germany or China or Japan, or the Visit Florida and CVB work so hard to get those people here, that's critical to make sure that we're taking care of them and not looking at what we just kind of throw on a plate and feed them and take their money and run. It's about making an experience for them that they don't forget, because that's what's really going to make our community great, is everybody in every business doing just that, whether it be selling jewelry or whatever your business is. But when people come in, it's about taking care of them and the human element as opposed to the mechanical element, right? I'll never be without a job. I don't care how far technology goes. I don't care if they have machines flipping burgers for me. That machine can't be creative and use that right side of their brain the way that we can as humans. So I just challenge myself and everybody to to do their best no matter what comes your way. I can tell you, I have a lot of strange things that happen in that restaurant and a lot of strange requests, and all we can do is accommodate them, because it really is, for me, about feeding people and making them happy. That's really all that's all that matters to me. So thank you guys. This is pretty awesome. I don't know what else to say, but awesome.
He's going to drop the noodles in the pot for the meatballs and spaghetti. You saw a picture come up before this award of the late Barbara Rodacher. She passed away recently. And many of you know Barbara has been involved in the hospitality industry for 35 years. Passed away from lung cancer. So she was special to me, special to our community, special to our industry. So we'll always remember her. We know she's in a better place. And Angela and your sister, our hearts and prayers are with you. So we just wanted to honor her today for all the hard work and the person that she was. So you all are in our minds.
Elliot, Commissioner, and Greg, thank you very much. You know, Dr. Thompson mentioned Steve Jobs in his remarks, and as Steve Jobs always used to say, one more thing. The Ambassador Award is always a very special presentation, as we just saw, but this year we're taking it up a notch. And here with a new very special presentation, I'd like to introduce and call to the stage from the University of South Florida, Sarasota, Manatee, Doctors Pat Moreo and Shihan Kubanoglu.
We wanted to follow Elliot and lose our place. Every so often in a community's history, a special individual deserves recognition.
So today, our hospitality industry is unveiling a new award, not only intended to stand the test of time, but it is intended to honor its first recipient for all time.
Through this award, each year we will honor someone in our community who has exemplified the character and the ideals of today's recipient.
In particular, the vision, wisdom, and leadership that has so positively contributed to our area's visitation economy.
And now, for the unveiling of the award and its recipient, let's draw your attention to the screens.
A true leader has the confidence to stand alone, the courage to make tough decisions, and the compassion to listen to the needs of others. He does not set out to be a leader, but becomes one by the quality of his actions and the integrity of his intent.
Manatee County is business friendly. It is customer friendly. He's turned all of the residents into customers. He treats Manatee County like he's running a business. He wants it to be profitable. He wants it to be customer service centric. It's not no anymore. It's like, how can we help you? What can we do to help you? And that's night and day. And it's awesome for Manatee County.
Hospitality is all encompassing. You know, it's not just restaurants. It's not just hoteliers. It's not just tourism. But hospitality is really being humbled in oneself and providing resources to someone who's coming and visiting or someone in our own backyard, but being embracing. And Ed's definitely embraced a large variety of our community, meeting the needs of organizations that really needed that little nudge or that little hand up. And then all the way over to the other side of the spectrum in meeting needs in the arts community. The city and the downtown Riverwalk. His reach, it's from one end of the spectrum to the other.
He's done great things for this county, and he's done right by this county. He's been a really steady hand. guiding us through ups and downs. It's not easy to get people to vote for more money for education or infrastructure, but in all of those cases, people had confidence in the leadership. And in large part, that was Ed's, because of Ed's steady hand. So he's been invaluable to our tourism economy here, and I think it's very fitting that for his tenure and his great leadership that we name this award, and we find worthy individuals. They're going to be big shoes to fill, both in what he's done for tourism and what he's done as a county administrator.
Another banner year is underway for tourism in Manatee County.
Yeah, record-breaking numbers in Manatee County, guys. Over 3 million visitors, $47 million in sales, in tax revenue.
$1.1 billion into the local economy is powerful stuff. It feeds our hospitality industry and hopefully continues to enhance the quality of life for our residents.
Look at the community we live in. Look at the amenities that we have. You start with the beaches, you travel the roads, you look at the libraries, you look at the parks, you look at the sporting events that we have, we look at the shopping that we have. As a community, we have a port, we have an airport. We live in paradise.
We would like to call to the stage the recipient of the first annual Ed Hunsaker Hospitality Leadership Award. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ed Hunsaker.
Is this where you say something like, wow? Somebody didn't tell me about something. It's truly an honor, privilege, humbling. It's a community. It's fun to be here. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else. We truly live in paradise. We have everything that everybody else wants, and they just get to come here on vacation. We get to live here year-round. And we wouldn't be able to do the things that we do if we didn't have the partners in this community that we have. Because nobody can do this alone. It really, really takes a community. The wonderful relationships we have with our cities, with the universities, with the Ringling College. You can pick up the phone and talk to anybody. This is a unique place. I've lived other places. You can show up in other communities and you can't be involved for years. You got to join this club, join that club, meet these people, meet those people. And maybe 5-10 years down the road, you can be involved. In this community, you can show up and within a month, you can be a player. If you want to be. All it takes is the want. And we have a lot of people that want to make this a better place. Truly, truly, is a great place to be. It's been an honor to be the county administrator here. It's been almost easy. I make it look hard some days. But it's a team effort. It's a great team. It's a great community. And I thank you very much for the honor. Thank you.
so great, everybody.
Ed, congratulations again. And Elliot, we got to have a little talk. You used a clip of me from 30 pounds ago in that. Finally, this afternoon, making this the perfect destination takes people, of course, like Mr. Hunziker. But there's also a very special ingredient that has recently been added to our destination's product mix. Over the last several years, the micro brewing phenomenon has swept the country and, of course, right here in the Bradenton area. It is no exception. And as you know, we have representatives from our area's microbreweries here with us here in the back today. Yeah, let's give them a big round of applause. So have you ever wanted to know about their contribution to this community or their individual histories and how they got started, or even how each is just so unique and different from one another? Well, now we invite you to sit back, relax, and enjoy an intoxicating exploration into the world of Bradenton area brewing.
The Bradenton brewing scene is very unique. When you talk about craft beer, when you talk about local beer, in every sense of the word, it really is a local industry.
It's more cooperation than competition. The attitude is our win is everyone's win. Rising tide floats all boats.
Florida and even Bradenton, Sarasota is now becoming a craft beer destination.
When we started to build this place, there was about 36 operating breweries in the state. Now there's well over 200 that are operating and paying taxes today.
I mean, if you look at our tap list right now, we have 24 handles. Most of those beers are ours. You can come to Florida, come to Manatee County, you can go to 7 or 8 breweries within a half an hour of each other and make a day of it or a couple days of it. It's great.
You have this beautiful tropical environment with all of these indigenous fruits, and the demand for great beer is booming. It's attracting very talented people to the state, and it's a very exciting time.
Our Doomy Double is a Belgian double, and it won a silver medal in the Florida Best Brewery contest.
We have the largest beer garden in Florida. It's actually the largest beer garden on the east coast of America. It's over 13,000 square foot of fun and games and live music. And it's really cool to come to this area and come and enjoy our award-winning beers that are winning medals on the highest scale, including at the Great American Beer Fest, which is the biggest accolade in our industry.
I think Bradenton's different because it is smaller. I think it's friendlier. It's more focused on the local economy and the local ingredients, and that kind of sets us apart, I think, from the other brewers in Florida.
You're talking about a much more of a town than a city. It's much easier to get around here. We've got the most beautiful beaches in the world, that are a stone's throw from these breweries.
Our motto is family, friends, and beer, so everybody's welcome here. Bring your dogs, bring your kids, bring your grandparents, bring whoever. We'll have some kind of beer and food that they're gonna like.
It's everybody's friends. They've all been in here to say hey and admire, and we all go there and try their new beers. It really is a great family of brewers in this area.
We have some great things going on. You got the minor league baseball in the spring, you got the beaches, and craft beer just adds another facet to that whole travel scene.
What better vacation than to come down to tropical paradise and realize that you have some of the best breweries in the country at your disposal, and you don't have to drive very far to check them out.
Craft beer has become the new wine. You know, there's never enough vineyards in California, you know, and there's never going to be enough breweries in Florida.
You're going to find amazing beer here, and you're going to find unique beer here in terms of the quality of the beer, the uniqueness of the beer, and now the quantity of the breweries. It's really starting to become a beer destination, thankfully.
I'm going to close it up here. A couple thank yous. First of all, Amy, where are you at? Amy Blankard from our staff, and Sable Santana. You ladies stand up or wave. Incredible job coordinating all this, asking for partnerships in the community, a special event. We can't thank you all for being here. You know, it's a little bit of a time of reflection once again for me, and I'll be brief. But let's think of this together. God has given us each our own skill sets. And it's our job to apply the God-given skill sets that he's given us. And at times, with all the technology that exists today, we get ourselves into a funk where we really don't apply the God-given ability that we were given. And I reflect on that a lot because I believe that I haven't fulfilled the ability that I've been given. And at my age, I felt like that I never will. Until I met with my uncle 2 days ago who's dying of pancreatic cancer. And my cousin said that he's 48 years old and my uncle's 70. And he said, you know what, Elliot? He said, when my dad went back to Montgomery, he did more in 20 years, the last 20 years, than the first 48 years of his life. And it was like, wow, I still have time to really apply the God-given ability that I was given. But I need help. I need partners in this community. I need to get out of my circle of friends and broaden my communication with everybody. You know, there's people that I haven't liked for one reason or another that come to find out when I'm talking to them, they tell me how much they like me. And it's like, wow, you know, I got to clean out my heart a little bit. Dr. Zernona Clayton, you know, she had a talk with me yesterday about renewing your heart, keeping a clean heart. Gosh, we can do so many things together if we keep a clean heart and knock down the barriers that we create. Because you know what? Friendships will be enhanced. Partnerships will be enhanced. Unconditional love will spread. And you know what? We'll get things done more than we ever have. We really will. And we'll finish strong together. Ed is the epitome of that. He is adhering to his God-given abilities. And guess what? He's not done. We know it in our heart. I know it in my heart. And I think he knows it in his heart. And whatever he does beyond this part of his life, we know he will finish strong. So if there's anything that I can leave you all with, because you all know that I like to share what's in my heart from time to time, because you all have blessed me so much. But Elliot is going to focus daily on what I just said, and I want you to join me all in doing the same. Thank you so much for being here. Enjoy the games, the food, and the craft beer, and God bless you all.